Alrighty, America, Drew Hernandez here. Welcome to the Lives Matter official podcast. If you guys are new to the show, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Make sure to like this video, smash the like button, let the algorithm know that you want to continue to see videos like this from moi. And also drop a comment below. I want to know where you guys are tuning in from. Drop your city, drop your state, drop your country, wherever you are. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight or wherever you are. I don't know. It could be the morning somewhere in the world. Who knows? But guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new to the show. I want to welcome you guys. As always, share this video, like this video, share it with someone that may need to hear the information that's dropped in this video tonight. There's a lot of things on my heart, a lot of things that I've been observing that I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast, and I haven't been staying away from the election, obviously. I've just been very careful with what is going out right now in the media, what's being said. I want to make sure that I'm saying what the Trump campaign is actually doing when it comes to their legal matters. I think there's a lot of influencers out there that mean well, probably a lot of Trump supporters out there, conservatives, maybe even Republicans, people, patriots that mean well, but kind of put out information that's not even true. There's all kinds of crazy, bizarre conspiracy theories going out right now, especially in right-wing circles. And I don't want to be someone that puts out disinformation or misinformation, even with good intentions, because even with good intentions, you could really hurt the process right now, because the process right now is literally putting our constitutional republic, our democracy, on the line, literally. So as always, guys, we're going to get into this. But we always do super chats at the end of the show. So if you'd like to ask a question and support this channel, that's how you do so. That's how you support my podcast, because I don't monetize this. I don't run ads. I don't do anything like that. I don't stop in the middle of an amazing point that I'm making and say, oh, by the way, buy a pillow. I don't do anything like that. This is how you guys can support this channel and this podcast. So you guys can drop a super chat. And if you don't want to and you want to support me, you guys can donate on Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Patreon, and all that good stuff. The links are in the description. Make sure to follow me on Rumble. I'm new on Rumble and also on Parler, because if Sleepy Joe Biden, Commie Joe Biden, actually pulls this steal off and gets into the White House, who knows how much longer we will be allowed to speak on the internet. All we have as of right now would be Parler and Rumble. So guys, make sure the links are in the description on that as well. So this is what I wanted to talk about with you guys tonight. Let's talk about Trump's his team and their legal theory that they are producing and that they are pursuing as well. Because the mainstream media has been attacking Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell. Everyone that's affiliated with Trump's legal team has been made out to be a clown, discredited, made to look like a fool, like they don't know what they're talking about, like they don't know what they're going to do, that they have absolutely no grip on the law. And if you're a Trump supporter right now, I want you to understand that the mainstream media is literally in the palm of the hand of the deep state, the radical left, the neo-communists, the people that hate America, that want to see America burn, that are in the palm of China as well, just like Joe Biden, just like Cam Harris, and the entire Democrat Party up until this point. Now, what I need you to understand is they want you to feel disenfranchised. They want you to feel demoralized. That feeling that you have right now, every time you see an article go up like, oh, Trump is 1 in 39 in court. I'm going to tell you this right now. This fight, this game is going to come down to the very last play. It's going to come down to the very last play. All that matters in this game right now is the last 5 seconds of this Super Bowl, the last 5 seconds of this NBA championship. We're in Game 7. This is the end. This is the very last dance, right? This is the last moment of Donald Trump's campaign where they will either prevail or they will fail. Now, what I want you to understand about this is, as you're seeing all of this stuff come out in the media, and you're seeing all these articles of this court, the lower court, rejects and throws out the court lawsuit, the Trump lawsuit, or the higher court in the state throws out the Trump lawsuit, you have to understand, like, the mainstream media on the left, they're foaming at the mouth for that because they want to write an article on that, put it out there to demoralize everyone on the right, to demoralize anyone that's an American or a patriot that's voted for Donald Trump. They want that to discourage you and to demoralize you. But here's my point. None of that matters. None of that stuff matters at this point. All of the stuff in the lower courts, the state courts, all of these things going back and forth, yes, they can help, obviously, because the state legislators have the ability to select their electors specifically to go and vote for the president, which is coming up very shortly. That is given over not to the governor, not to the Secretary of State. That is not given over up to, according to the Constitution of the United States of America. That is given over to the state legislators, state Senate, state Congress. They're the ones who choose. They choose that. So obviously that could help when you're seeing Jenna Ellis, Rudy Giuliani. They're rolling out all of their evidence. They've been in Arizona today. They rolled out. They went over 8 hours, and the mainstream media says that there's no evidence. They went over 3 hours in Arizona today, over 3 hours of rolling out all of their affidavits, which is let me just break this down to you. If you're listening to me right now and you have no idea what an affidavit is, that is legitimate evidence that is submitted to court, that is received in court to be examined. They will investigate a sworn affidavit. That is the legitimate definition of evidence. Like, this is basic stuff. And the mainstream media doesn't tell you that because they don't want to admit that this stuff does exist, that there is voter fraud, that there are election officials that broke federal and state election laws in multiple states. You see, the mainstream media, big tech, doesn't want you to understand this. That's why they want you to just bite into their narrative and believe it until the end of time, because they don't want people waking up to the reality of the truth that our republic is literally being attacked from within, from the Democrat Party, and I would even submit aspects of the Republican Party as well. The deep state runs deep. What am I saying? What I'm saying is this. I'm saying that it's good that the Trump campaign is running their hearings with legislators in Arizona and Pennsylvania. They're rolling out all of their evidence. They took more than 8 hours today in Arizona. They were scheduled to end 3 hours earlier than when they ended. They went over because there was such a mountain of evidence in Arizona today. And the mainstream media says, there's no evidence. Twitter fact checkers will say, there's no evidence. Facebook says, there's no evidence. The mainstream media has been saying, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, and Sidney Powell are making all kinds of ridiculous, radical claims about voter fraud, and they're providing no evidence. So now they finally do, and the mainstream media doesn't cover it. You want to know why? Because they don't want you to know about it. That's why. It's all legitimate. Sworn affidavits. If you swear under oath on an affidavit, and it is found out that you have lied, in some states, that's under penalty of perjury, jail time. You can go to prison for falsely testifying. It's like swearing under oath. So these sworn affidavits are not these are serious things, very serious legal matters. Hundreds of affidavits have been filed, documented, and signed under penalty of perjury, which can equate to jail time. You can go to prison for lying on this. Hundreds of people that are coming forward. And let me remind you, Democrats are coming forward as well. But the mainstream media, CNN, not even Fox is covering this stuff. And I'll leave that up to you to decide for yourself as to why. But even Democrats are coming forward in sworn affidavits, testifying under penalty of perjury, jail time. You can go to jail for lying on this thing. Democrats are coming forward and testifying that they were threatened, that they were accused of being racists, that they experienced voter suppression and voter fraud as well. Democrats. That is a fact. That is literally a fact. So all of a sudden, Democrats are Trump supporters all out of the blue? If you're willing to believe that conspiracy that, oh, these Democrats are, they're plants. They're not really Democrats. The Trump campaign just planted them in there to say they're Democrats so that the right-wing media could take it and they could use it as a talking point to prove that election fraud is. Do you honestly believe that? Like, are you that conspiratorial? That's more of a conspiracy than saying that what the right is saying about voter fraud doesn't exist. Or that it does exist. Excuse me. If you're going to sit there and think that Democrats risking their lives, coming forward in sworn affidavits, punishable perjury by jail time, if you think that that's not real, you're mindless. What are you thinking? How could you deny reality so bad? What am I saying? This is what I wanted to break down tonight. Is it's good that these things are coming out because Giuliani, Jenna Ellis experience. There's a reason why they're senior advisors, legal advisors to the President of the United States of America. Rudy Giuliani has listen. Rudy Giuliani has gone after the mafia. He's gotten eyewitnesses to testify against mob families, mafia families. You guys ever see Batman, The Dark Knight? Was it The Dark Knight? Yeah. You guys remember Batman, The Dark Knight? Remember how Harvey Dent, before he became Two-Faced, how Harvey Dent was just this all-star criminal prosecutor that was just going after the mob and getting them all in court and getting people to testify against them and just cleaning the... Rudy Giuliani is literally Harvey Dent, like the real Harvey Dent. This guy has gone after mob families. Mafia has gotten people to testify against the mafia. They have gotten their lives threatened by the mafia, which is interesting because the Democrat Party is acting the exact same way because Republicans' families are being threatened. Today in Arizona, a Republican that was running for office that was on the campaign trail testified under sworn affidavit. Literally, that's a criminal offense if you lie. that she was physically threatened and she was attacked on the campaign trail by Antifa. Now, who the hell does Antifa side with? Obviously, they hate Democrats and they hate Joe Biden, but Antifa is never going to go up to bat for the Republican Party or Donald Trump. They will work in favor for the other side. That's a fact. Black Lives Matter too. What am I saying? What I'm saying is you have a lot of evidence that's come forward. Sworn affidavits, testimonies. That is evidence. That's the legal definition of evidence. That's what that is. And you're probably listening, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's like, well, who told you it's not? Can you even tell me who told you it's not? You can't even cite to me who told you that sworn affidavits are not evidence. Presented evidence. Obviously, they're not 100% fail-safe because we don't know if that person's actually down to lie, being threatened under penalty of perjury, and Rudy Giuliani does say this, but no one in their right mind is going to go lie, unless you're Hillary Clinton, to the point of possibly being found out and thrown absolutely in jail. You and I both know that the everyday average person doesn't get away with stuff like that. Only the elite do. Only people like Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the deep state and the CIA and the FBI and all these law enforcement agencies that let these criminals get away with it year in and year out. It's never the little people that get away with this stuff. It's the little people with extremely credible professions, backgrounds. Some of these people that are under sworn affidavits are like intelligence officers. They're cybersecurity analysts, scientists. These people are, I had no idea that the Trump campaign, that the Trump legal team was going to provide such credible witnesses. I mean, to be honest, I thought we were going to get a lot of tinfoil hat wearing, you know what I mean, type of people that swore they saw something, that are kind of like egotistical and they just want the limelight and they want to be seen supporting the president and they want to just have their 5 minutes of fame, you know, to be seen helping them. I thought we were going to get a lot of that, but dude, we have gotten some credible people that have worked in intelligence agencies in the United States of America. And if you don't know this, you're not watching the hearings. Now, the point I'm making is I'm glad that the hearings are happening because all of the evidence is coming out. And I'm just citing to you guys some different cases in Arizona and Pennsylvania. I think Georgia is tomorrow, or Michigan, one of the two. But I'm glad that these hearings are happening because if the legislators decide to withhold their electors and they appoint their own because they recognize, now let me make this point, because the governor of Arizona went forward in the process of certifying the election results in Arizona I was there today covering outside everything that was going on. Not much was really going on, but I covered some of it. The big story is what's going on inside. In the middle of the hearing today, a hearing that was more than 8 hours long, they didn't even get to finish. There were still 4 more witnesses testifying under perjury, under the penalty of perjury, under oath of election fraud, what they saw, what they experienced, what they heard. They didn't even get to finish. They spent over 8 hours, went 3 hours over, still had 4 witnesses left. The governor of Arizona, he certified the election, I think even before they went to lunch. Yeah, he certified the election before they even went to lunch and took a break today. Didn't even listen to any of his constituents. Listen, it is your job to hear these people out. You were voted in so you can be a voice, the hands and feet, the heart, the mind, the decisions of the American people on both sides. And there was tons of credible evidence that was literally presented today in Arizona, and the governor of Arizona literally certified the election results before they even went to lunch in the hearing. Didn't even give an ear to his constituents in those hearings. Now, why do I say that's important? I say that's important because if these election results, where it's literally being proved and it's starting to roll out, are tampered with by the thousands, have been manipulated, have been altered, have been cheated, have been tainted, if this election has been compromised, why the hell are you certifying the results? And there's credible evidence. You have two of the most experienced, most professional, constitutional. This is why the left hates Jenna Ellis and Rudy Giuliani. Sophisticated lawyers in America right now presenting a case that I personally do not believe anyone else in the United States of America would be able to do right now. And this so-called Republican governor doesn't even wait until the hearing is over to certify the election results. Why would you certify the election when there's credible evidence being presented in your state in real time, you guys? It's not like he allowed the hearing to go down. He heard some testimonies and I was like, this is going to be hard to prove. Let's just move forward. No, the dude didn't even wait until the hearing was done, bro. That should tell you something. I guarantee you this guy is not going to get reelected, or maybe he will because he knows that same fraud will get him reelected. I don't know. What do you think? But the point that I've been trying to make in the introduction of this show is I'm glad that the legislators are meeting with Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis. They're hearing the cases. The evidence is coming out. So now the mainstream media doesn't have an excuse and can't say that there is no evidence, even though they still are. And just because the hearings are not being held in these state courtrooms or these state legislator rooms doesn't mean they're not legitimate. You understand that, right? You know why. The whole BS excuse as to why they can't meet is why? Because of COVID. The legislators are there. These are people who write laws and enact them. So it's not some kind of pony show. It's not some kind of clown show at all. This is real. Don't let the left lie to you. What's happening is real. It's real. These are lawmakers that they're meeting with. These are cases that are being built. CNN and the left, MSNBC, and some aspects of Fox that aren't even covering it, they're lying to you. Trump has a shot. Is it a long shot? Yes. Is it impossible? Some might say so, but it's not. Is it possible? Can Trump pull this thing off? The reason why I leave, two reasons. The reason why I leave a bunch of hope for Trump winning this thing is for two reasons. Number one, God could do anything. Number two, the Constitution of the United States of America. You have to understand the Constitution paves a way. This is why we have checks and balances. It's to combat illegal activity as well. Because if one branch of government is fraudulent, contaminated, tyrannical, illegal, or any aspect of this government, this is why we have separate branches. This is why we have checks and balances. Because if this federal election is tampered with, illegal, delegated to the states to choose their electors, but it's being done illegally, wouldn't you want a separate party to step in and make sure that things are done legally and right? I would say yes. Why the hell would you not want that? Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Let me be honest with you right now. Let me be completely honest with you. In 2016, when Donald Trump won the election, I supported Trump. through the primaries, about halfway. I was for Cruz at first because he seemed to be like the most pro-Christian candidate right out the gate. But then halfway through in the primaries is when I started to see Trump is the guy, man. And I became a really, 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 really bigger supporter of Donald Trump halfway through the primaries in 2016. Okay? So when Trump won the election, I was shocked because I literally believed that there was no way, and not in a negative way, more from the context of like the deep state wins everything. They control everything. There's no way Donald Trump's going to beat the deep state. These people are too corrupt. They're just going to get their way like always. And I'm just being honest with you. I thought Trump was going to lose, not because he was a failure, not because he was the underdog, in the sense that the deep state they win everything. Hillary Clinton was literally proven to have illegal top secret emails on her private server. The FBI investigated it, found it, and didn't press charges. I'm like, what the hell? Remember that? And she's running for president. I was like, these people are just going to get their way, dude. They're literally just going to get their way. But because of the American people and what God did in 2016, Trump won, okay? And I was shocked by that. I think a lot of people were. And you see, the point that I'm trying to make is when that took place, when Trump won the 2016 election, I was so shocked that when the Russia hoax conspiracy started to roll out, I didn't believe it, but I was skeptical because I'm like, well, maybe that's how he beat the deep state. I don't know. Was there an explanation? And then the investigations came out. I wanted to know if Donald Trump genuinely, as an American, I wanted to know if Donald Trump legitimately did cheat in the 2016 election. Because I don't care who you are. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, a Trump supporter, a conservative, a liberal, I don't care. I just want this to be a free and fair country, period. If Joe Biden won fair and square, then so be it. We move forward, we move on, and we'll fight. Trust, we're going to fight. But was it done fairly? Was it done freely? And I wanted to know if Donald Trump really did win fairly. And it came out and he did. So I say this to say to the left, listen, I'm in the same position with Joe Biden right now. And there's more evidence right now to prove and support that the Democrat Party, that there is sufficient, massive amounts of election fraud in the 2020 presidential election. There is more evidence now than the Democrats had these past 4 years accusing Donald Trump of rigging the 2016 election, colluding with Russia. Nowhere near. Democrats nowhere near had the amount of evidence that the Trump legal team has provided in 2 weeks. Democrats couldn't provide the same amount of evidence. Dude, the Trump legal team has provided more evidence to literally display that election fraud took place in multiple states during the 2020 election than Democrats could, accusing Trump of rigging the 2016 election. There's more evidence for this than there was for that. Fact. And you're like, no. Twitter says it's disputed. Dude, Twitter's lying to you. Candace Owens literally just won in court. Put Facebook, Facebook fact checkers on blast. Took them to court for fact checking her for saying that Joe Biden is not the certified president-elect. They censored her. She took them to court. She won. And the fact checkers literally publicly retracted their fact check and said they were wrong. Because they got exposed, bro. You think these people aren't biased? Imagine if you had the control and the power that Twitter has over the minds of millions of people. Imagine for 2 seconds. Imagine you had that. Imagine. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, big tech. Imagine you had the power to shut down what people wanted to say in order to favor what you wanted. Imagine for 2 seconds you had that power. Not just over 100 people, not just over 100,000 people, hundreds of millions of people. And imagine these are the same people that hate God, hate Christianity, hate any form of morality, that are totally lawless. These are the people with their hands on these levers of power. You would trust them to be honest, true, and have integrity? Yeah, okay. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is this. I want to know if this was done fairly. That's what I want to know. And I make that point about 2016 and wanting to know if Trump won fairly because I'm just being honest with leftists that follow me. Because people will say, oh, well, you didn't want to. Well, what about Trump and the collusion? I'm like, I wanted to know. What now? It's like, dude, just shut up already. My God, dude. We have to get aggressive. We honestly do. You guys are like, and I'm serious, man. Let me just continue with my point. The point I'm trying to make is it's good that legislators are having these meetings, right? All the evidence is coming out. It's great. It's good for the campaign. It's good for Trump. It's good for the legal team because if they can get the legislators, according to the Constitution of the United States, the legislators are appointed to elect the rules, write the laws for the elections that take place in their states. Not the governor, not the Secretary of State, not even the court. It's the legislators. The House of Representatives in the state of California, the Senate in the state of Arizona. It's the legislators, people that write laws and they enact them. Okay? So the Constitution of the United States of America has designated that authority and that ability. So when it comes to our federal elections, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, our federal elections that are delegated to the states, the election laws, when they are written, when they are enacted, are done by the legislators. That's in the Constitution, enshrined. So the House of Representatives, the Senate, in your state, they are the ones that write the rules. Okay? So, with that said, I tell you this. All of these things taking place with the legislators in every single swing state right now, yes, it would be a good thing because the legislators have the constitutional authority to select or withhold their electors. They appoint who they want. That's fact. Okay? Obviously, if a candidate genuinely won the presidency and the electors end up, because they couldn't take the L, and the legislators appoint electors in favor of their losing candidate still, that would be absolutely horrendously unfair. Wouldn't it be? Of course it would. It'd be ridiculous. It would be an abuse of power. So here's the legal theory that you may have not even heard right now. This is where the Trump campaign's head is at, okay? I would agree with you. If Donald Trump could not take the L because he genuinely lost and the Trump campaign were taking these legal avenues to win, I would condemn it because I wouldn't support it. Because the fact that a candidate won legitimately and you're still trying to overturn the election results with legal theory because you don't like the results, I would condemn it. But what's the factor here that's changing everything? It's the fraud. That's what's changing all of this. Okay? And it's legitimate and it's real. And you don't have tinfoil hat wearing people that are testifying under sworn affidavits, my friend. You have legitimate people. You have intelligence agency people. You have people that are forensic computer scientists. Like these people are insane. My mind is blown with the witnesses, literally blown. So what I'm telling you is when you take a look at this election and the election fraud evidence that's coming out, I support the Trump team's legal avenues and legal strategy because it is the legislators' responsibility to make sure that the voice of the people is not only heard, but projected and absolutely enshrined forever when it comes to our elections. If there is election fraud, which there is, it is their job to look at it. It is their job to uncover it. It is their job to protect the integrity of our election process. So I support the fact that because these legislators are listening to the Trump legal team and they're doing it by constitutional avenues, not to win because they took an L, but because there's illegal activity that is being shown and proven in these hearings. That's what I look at. That is what my eye is on right now. And it is their obligation, it is the legislators' obligation to protect the integrity of these elections, to protect these sacred votes. Because the evidence that's coming out, there are possibly hundreds and thousands of fake votes. It is the legislators, it is their duty to make sure that that is thrown out, to preserve the integrity of our election. I hope this makes sense to you because it's very basic for me. I mean, I've been studying this for the past few days and I understand it because I want to make sure before I come out and I say something that not only do I understand it, but I stand behind it and I support it. And I 100% support what the president and his legal team are doing on the basis of their constitutional authority being used to combat illegal activity in our election. That's what this is about. You need to understand this. This isn't even about overturning the results. This is about overturning fake results. This is about overturning illegal results. This is about combating illegal, criminal, unconstitutional activity that took place in the 2020 election just a few weeks ago. Now, according to Rudy Giuliani, there are citing Article 2, Section 1.2. You'll be hearing this in the Constitution from Rudy Giuliani. You're hearing this over and over again by Jenna Ellis. And it's the same thing I already told you, that the legislators are the ones that are appointed to select the rules, write the rules. It's delegated in the Constitution as to how they will conduct their elections, including the presidency, right? So what happened? I'll give you guys a couple examples. I'll give you one example that took place, and this is the constitutional argument that Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis are taking to the legislators, which if that fails, it'll be good if they can withhold their electors, right? It'll be good if that can happen, but we're not counting on it. What are we counting on? We are counting on what? The Supreme Court of the United States. There's the checks and balances. See, the media won't tell you this. The media is like, oh my God, you're getting thrown out in the state courts. Oh, you just go to the Supreme Court. That's how it works in America, you stupid kid. That's how it works. We have checks and balances to protect us. If the executive branch is corrupt, we have the judicial branch. If the judicial branch is corrupt, we have the legislative branch. You have literally, this is how it works in America. Did you not pay attention in school? Checks and balances. According to our Constitution, we are all in authority to the Constitution. Private citizens, elected officials, law enforcement officers, everyone. We are all in subjection to the Constitution of the United States of America, and it provides checks and balances. Because if the Democrats are corrupt in their states and they're certifying fake election results, then we have a check and balance of what? The Supreme Court of the United States. My God, are you that stupid to not understand that this is basic? Basic. My 12-year-old niece could probably explain this to you on this freaking podcast. My God. Let's continue. So, the avenue that the Trump legal team is approaching is a constitutional one. Okay? Lawyers are very, very black and white when they make their arguments. This is what the Constitution says. This is what was violated. This is why it was illegal. We got to do something. It's literally that basic. Okay? This is why Trump put Rudy Giuliani at the forefront of this thing, because a constitutionalist, that's how they interpret the law, and that's how they enact law, and that is how they practice law. Whether they're defending or whether they're going at it. Does that make sense? So you have to understand, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, they're taking a look at what the Constitution says and how that rolls out in the states and what was violated during this election when it comes to the constitutional delegated rules that the legislators enacted for this election. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So there's a rule that has been set by the state legislators for every single state, right? They set the rules. They wrote the law. They enacted the law. This is how we will conduct our elections. The governor, secretary of state, mayor, none of them get involved. It's the legislators that set it. There are specific rules for the presidency that the legislators have set. I'm nailing this over and over again because if you don't understand this, you won't understand the Trump legal team's approach, which I'm going to be completely honest with you. Because we have Amy Coney Barrett in the Supreme Court, and because we have Neil Gorsuch, and because we have Brett Kavanaugh, and because we have multiple conservative constitutionalists, this is what matters. The media is not going to tell you this, my friend. I'll tell you the truth. I'm telling you the God-honest truth right now. If these cases make it to the Supreme Court, more than likely, if these justices do not back down and they do what is right, the way that they will interpret the law will be according to the Constitution, the same way that Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis are approaching these cases. The way that the Supreme Court, the conservative constitutionalists that interpret the Constitution as written and they enact and they rule that way, this is how Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis are. It's like a layup, bro. It's a layup. Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis are taking all these cases and they're just more like an alley-oop. I'll put it that way. Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis are just taking these cases and just tossing the alley-oop up to the Supreme Court for a dunk. Perfect dunk. And you might say, oh, well, they're biased. They're biased for Trump. No, they're biased to the Constitution. And Jenna Ellis and Rudy Giuliani are aware of that. Does that make sense? So these cases are being constitutionally formed. They're being built. So when it goes to the Supreme Court, the Constitution is going to be the thing that the Supreme Court looks at, and if it aligns, that's how they're going to rule. So let me give you a couple examples, okay? All the legislator stuff, it'll be good if they withhold the electors. That'll be good. That'll be dandy. That'll be fine. None of that matters until it goes to the Supreme Court. That's the final 5 seconds in the fourth quarter of this game. Where it's going. It's taking time. Time is not on their side, but we have faith. We have hope. 2 states down. They're going to file. It'll go. We pray. We hope. But I think it would be easier if Republicans grew a spine and withhold their electors so they don't falsely appoint them to a candidate that possibly cheated. We as Americans deserve to know. We deserve closure. The left had 4 years. They took us through 4 years of dragging Donald Trump through a fake Russia hoax and Ukraine scandal that was proven to be false. Democrats had 4 years. We have what? We had 4 weeks. So be praying. Because even the president admitted time is not on our side. But I just want to give you some understanding as to how these cases are being rolled out. They're being viewed. And everything I'm saying, guys, I've been studying Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis's words and writings. You can ask my wife, dude. I've been up listening to them over and over and over and over again. And you guys can listen to their content. You can listen to Rudy Giuliani's channel. Everything I'm telling you is what's coming straight from the Trump campaign. Okay? And I wanted to make sure that that's where I was at, because I don't want to be someone that spreads misinformation and gets it wrong, and I do more damage than good with good intentions. So the constitutional argument, the state legislators set rules, right? They set rules. No one can break those rules. No one can alter those rules at the drop of a dime. So I'm going to give you guys a couple examples as to how this is being viewed from the campaign. The constitutional argument is that the state legislators have been given the authority to set rules, enact law as to how they want to conduct their elections, right? So in Pennsylvania, one of the rules that the state legislators set for the election of the presidency is that there has to be, when inspecting ballots, when inspecting votes, there has to be a Democrat and a Republican that is on both sides of the counter to inspect the ballot, to be able to see if it's real, if it's fraudulent, to object to the ballot. So what happened in Pennsylvania, that's the rule. That's literally the constitutional rule. And if you violate that, you are breaking federal election law. Period. Remember what I said? Black and white. So what happened in Pennsylvania? One of the instances is that more than 600,000 ballots were counted without a Republican observer. By law, they have to be right there with the ability to observe with your eye the ballot. Not pushed away, in some cases, under sworn affidavit testimony, under penalty of perjury. If you're lying, hundreds of witnesses testified in Pennsylvania that they were pushed, that they were kettled like sheep, like cattle, and little walls up to 50 and 100 feet pushed away from the ballot counter. You know what that means? That means that whoever allowed that broke constitutional federal election law. Why? What did I tell you? Because the Constitution, what? Gave the states to set the rule that a Republican and a Democrat must be there, present at the count to see the ballot, to validate it. So over 600,000 ballots were counted not that way in Pennsylvania. And evidence has been presented. You watched the hearing to prove it so. So you know what that would do? The chances of the Supreme Court looking at that, and if they interpret the law, the Supreme Court could look at that and say, this is all they're going to look at. This was the Constitution. The state legislators set the rules. Those rules were broken because the election official broke those rules. They will have to remedy. And most likely, if all of those votes and ballots get rendered void and null, whose fault would that be? Would that be Donald Trump's fault? Would that be Rudy Giuliani's fault? Whose fault would that be? I'll give you two people here. Okay? Number one, it would be the election official. So if I know the campaign believes that all those hundreds of thousands of ballots that were counted without an observer to watch it, literally watch it, not in the same room. Stop listening to fake news. That's not what the law says. Being in the same room means nothing. You have to physically be standing right there to watch. That's the law. Republicans were pushed away, kettled. Number one, the election official that allowed that is to blame. Whoever the hell that is, if your vote gets rendered void and null, it's not Donald Trump's fault, bro. It's not his fault. He didn't break the law. Why is that his fault? It's not Rudy Giuliani's. It's not Jenna Ellis. Number one, whose fault is that? Who do you blame for that? Who would you blame? The election official that allowed that. Number one and number two. Okay? Who else do you blame? The Constitution of the United States of America. It's a law. Does it make sense to you now why radical leftists want to abolish the Constitution? Because it always gets in the way. It always pops its head out to promote, enshrine, and preserve integrity. Does it make sense to you why they hate the Constitution? It always gets in the way. Donald Trump will not be to blame if that happens in Pennsylvania. Because the constitutional rules that were set by the legislator were that a Republican and a Democrat must be there to observe with their eyeballs the ballots and the votes that go through, and they didn't allow that by the hundreds of thousands. And whose fault is that if your vote gets rendered void and null? Not Donald Trump. Blame the idiot that broke the law and ruined it for you. It just made it easy for Donald Trump to have a case, bro. That's the constitutional eyeball that Rudy Giuliani has right now. That's why he's so confident. And the Supreme Court could take a look at that. And this is what the media will say. The media will say that the Supreme Court is going to overturn the election results. That's not true. The Supreme Court will uphold the constitutional laws that were set. And if that was violated, and by default, because a law was broken, election results are overturned, that's because of the law being broken, Not because the Supreme Court is saying, Biden won. We don't want Biden to win. We're just going to change the result. That's what the media is trying to tell you they're doing. Law and order. This is why people hate the Constitution. They hate it. They hate it. I'll give you one more example. In Michigan, do you guys remember when you went to sleep and Trump was winning by a landslide? And you woke up next morning to see that somehow Biden was just balling out of control with votes? Turns out that in Michigan, there's 3 eyewitnesses. Now remember, kids, with what? Under sworn affidavit. What's that? Evidence. These people can go to jail if they're lying about this. And if they are lying about it, you want to know what? I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, throw their ass in jail. Because if they're lying about this stuff, this is serious stuff. We're talking about our election here. There are 3 eyewitnesses under a sworn affidavit, under penalty of perjury, that have testified in Michigan seeing between 3 and 4 in the morning these secret ballots that rolled through between 3 and 4 in the morning and were counted frantically. And some were recounted over and over again. Some were brought in trash cans and bins, just all janky and bootleg. The witnesses said that they didn't appear to be legitimate ballots. These are trained observers. They are appointed by these political parties. There are 3 sworn affidavits corroborating this testimony in this story. And that count is either between 60 and 100,000 in Michigan. That's just one of the cases. Now, what does that violate? Constitution, the state laws set what? That a Republican and a Democrat must observe the counts. There were none. Between 3 and 4 in the morning, there were none. Nobody held those people accountable. And all of those votes were for Biden, by the way. Every single one. So what does that mean? That is a violation of the Constitution, the state law, that a Republican and a Democrat must both be there to inspect every single ballot. Vote. And that was in the around 60 to 100,000. All those secret ballots just dumped. Law broken. Now, are those real ballots? We don't know. Are those real votes? Are those real people? We have no idea. It could be all, it could have been like 100,000 ballots. Dude, honestly, because we don't know, because they broke federal election law by not allowing inspectors to inspect those ballots and votes between 3 and 4 in the morning, all of those votes could have literally been like Donald Trump voting for Joe Biden. You understand that? And we would never know. We would never know. They could have been just so ridiculous. It could have been nobody. It could have been Mickey Mouse. It could have been Grogu. Holy crap. And this doesn't concern you? I'm just giving you a couple examples because I'm trying to get you to see the way that this is coming is there are laws that are set by the legislator. These laws are broken. And because they were broken, it results to hundreds of thousands of ballots that could be rendered void because Democrats broke election laws. And I'm going to be honest with you. When the Supreme Court takes a look at that, the chance of them looking at it that way, they will look at, okay, our Constitution says the states set the laws, they set the rules. So it's proven here in sworn affidavits that these laws were broken. And that resulted into, it's like when you're playing football, right? It's a flag on the play. Flag on the play. A flag on the play is being thrown right now in our 2020 election. That's what's happening, you guys. Because there are rules that must be followed. A flag on the play is being thrown. And right now, it's going into review. Does that make sense? And what's the rule book? The Constitution. So right now, we're trying to have referees look into and reviewing these plays to see how it went down. Did Joe Biden catch this football in the end zone with 2 feet in before he went into the out of bounds? You feel me, guys? You guys understand what I'm saying? There's rules in play. You can't just be in the last 4 seconds of the Super Bowl, down by 1 point, throw a Hail Mary into the end zone, catch it out of bounds, and the referee say, while the entire world is watching, touchdown. Why? Because that would be against the rules. And right now, we have a constitutional republic. We still have a constitution as it stands, thank God, where state legislators have set rules for this election. And right now, there's a flag on the play because there's credible evidence by the hundreds of sworn affidavits in multiple states that could actually, and I'm being honest with you, end up by hundreds of thousands of ballots being rendered void and null. And so the Supreme Court could possibly be the referees in the next week. Take a look at these cases. There's a flag on the play. So they got to, like when you're watching the NFL, when you used to watch the NFL, when there's a flag on the play, they got to review it. They go into the little booth. They're watching the TV. That's going to be the Supreme Court, bro. Okay, let's take a look at this. What does our Constitution say? The constitutionalists, Alito, Amy, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, all of them. What does the Constitution say? Because they're going to be biased. I'll tell you that right now. And if they're biased, they're going to be biased to the Constitution. That is their job. And if they're going to look at this and they're going to say, okay, what's the Constitution of the United States if they take the case? What's the Constitution say? Okay, the state legislators, they appoint the rules in all the states for the federal election. They must be upheld. Okay, where's the evidence? There's a whole freaking iceberg of evidence in every single state. They take a look at it, the sworn affidavits, the testimonies, like the 2 instances I cited to you today. Oh, okay, here in Pennsylvania, the election law set by the legislators, whereas that a Republican and a Democrat must take a look at these ballots, must inspect the ballot, must be there to observe it with their eyeballs. Whoa. There's evidence here to suggest here in Pennsylvania, this is under a sworn affidavit, that hundreds of thousands of ballots were not counted because Democrats pushed Republicans in pins in like the corner of a room, and that was to observe. It's a violation of the law. They will rule in favor of the law, hopefully. And the same thing with Michigan, the same thing with every single state that has a constitutional argument. You see, the key here and the kicker is it enough votes that could potentially change the result of the election? And the answer to that in Pennsylvania is yes. And the answer to that in Michigan is yes, and in multiple states. So if you're a leftist right now, what you have to worry about is, number one, you have to worry that there wasn't enough evidence if you want this sham of an election to succeed, which now there is. And number two, you have to worry about the Constitution, because the Constitution is the one that's going to win this thing in the end. Remember what I said. What are the two things that I have my hope in right now for this election? Number one, God, and number two, in the Constitution of the United States of America. And we have checks and balances, thank God. So don't get all discouraged when you're seeing all these multiple articles coming out, from CNN and MSNBC and all these fake news organizations. Oh, Trump is 1-39 in court. I'm going to be honest with you, man. All that matters is the Supreme Court. These cases go there. All it takes is for them to rule in favor of the Constitution because laws were broken. Constitutional laws were broken. And that's that. Now, what will their remedy be? I don't know. Will their remedy be, will they call for a redo of the election in these states? I don't know. Will their remedy be that they will just by default hand over the electors to Donald Trump because those are the legitimate results? I don't know. But what I do know is that Biden can lose this thing from him. This is why we have checks and balances. So I hope that kind of gives you guys some clarity because, I've been studying this stuff and I'm listening to a bunch of conservative talking heads and, listening to tons of podcasts. And, what I've been trying to do, and I advise you to do, is listen to the Trump legal team, listen to their strategy, listen to what they're saying. Listen, even if you're a leftist right now, listen to what's coming out. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if you listen, this is what I warn leftists about all the time. I warn you. Look, I don't care what you believe. Okay? This isn't about me winning an argument, but what I will tell you, my friend, is that the left-leaning media, they are literally hiding many things. They put out propaganda. They try and sway the minds of millions of people. They hide the truth purposely. Okay? Don't fall for that, man. Do not fall for that. Because they're not telling you what I just told you tonight. That Trump still has a shot. Because of the Constitution of the United States. It's a long shot. I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh my gosh, he's got it in the bag, but it's a long shot. The chance of Trump winning this election is still there. That's a fact. So, alrighty guys, I'm going to take a couple questions, some super chats. If you guys would like to ask me something, leave a super chat below. And just leave a question below. And we will get to your super chats. If you guys would like to ask something or say something, make a comment. This is how you could support the channel. I don't run ads on this thing. I don't. You guys already know. This is all supported by we the people and you the people. So if there's anything you guys would like to ask before I roll out, make sure to leave a super chat below, and we will get to your questions. And we will get to them below. Hold on, let me open this real quick. I see some super chats rolling in. Hold on, let me just make sure I got this put out. I see one right here. Here we go. There it is. Rachel, my first super chat, no question. Just want to show support. Rachel, thank you for the super chat. Make sure to subscribe to Rachel's channel if you guys can. We appreciate all the support on this channel, you guys, because like I said, we don't monetize. It's always weird putting that out there, but people want to support me. So I truly do thank you for the support. And like I say, guys, all the time, if you guys don't want to use the super chat feature, you guys could support me on the Venmo, the Cash App, the PayPal, Patreon, all that cool stuff as well. So if you guys have any more questions, or if there's anything that you'd like to say, make sure to drop it below. Let me reopen this. What? Huh? Oh, it's okay. It's all good. Yeah. It's funny, huh? Alrighty. Oh my God, Jimmy boy. Thank you for the super chat. $10 super chat. Truly appreciate it. Yo, how's it going, Drew? What do you think of the MSM and the left referring to science as if it's some new dogmatic religion that cannot be questioned and only their interpretation is allowed? You know, I like that because it's funny because all of a sudden the left points to science and facts when it comes to climate change or it comes to COVID, right? But when it comes to abortion, the A word, right? When it comes to the pro-life issue, all science and fact goes out the window completely. I mean, if you can't see this by now, how the Democrat, the left, you know, radical socialists, progressives, people that just go back and forth with their political ideology, they claim to believe one thing when it fits their narrative because it's convenient for the time. But because they're quote unquote social justice virtue signalers and they're arrogant, they won't claim science and fact when it comes to the pro-life issue. Want to know why? Because they know for a fact that if they cite science and fact when it comes to the pro-life issue, they will lose their arguments every single time. Every single time. Every single time. You want to know how I know? I had a kid one time. I gave a speech. I think it was at I don't know where it was. Something. I gave a speech and this kid came up to me, right? And this kid came up to me and he was like, "Well, what about abortions for women that get raped and women that are forced against their will and this and that?" And it's like the same straw man little argument, right? Even though that's like, I think it was like 0.2% of cases happen when abortion goes into that option because a woman is raped and this and that. And I said this, I understand your argument, but let me ask you this, my friend, because I could tell he was on his high horse and he knew who I was and he thought he could challenge me and put me in a corner in front of like hundreds of people. And I said this, I said, you know what? Would you perform an abortion? And he's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, you. Would you take your hands and would you end a human life inside of a womb? I don't care what stage at birth it's at. They are at. But would you yourself perform an abortion on a woman? And his face, I'll never forget it. His face was like, I was like, why is your face like that? And he's like, I would never do something like that. Just, man. I was like, yeah, you never even thought about that, did you? You see, the conscience is a very real thing. And people have to separate their ideology and what they believe with what it looks like in practice. They have to take it off of paper and they have to see the reality of it in the real world. I challenge any leftist out there. Would you be willing to perform an abortion with your own bare hands? Watch it, experience it, feel it. I guarantee you the answer will always be no. I guarantee you the response will be the response that I got from that kid that was like, oh, this disgusted look on his face. Because he knows it's graphic, it's horrific. No one in their right mind. All these virtue signaling kids are like, this pro-choice and so on. Okay. Would you be down to perform an abortion? You'll always get the same response. Unless they're twisted and just ridiculously evil. Yeah, So if we have any more super chats, guys, we are taking super chats right now. If there's anything you would like to ask myself about anything, about the election, about life, pop culture, movies, anything, guys, I like to leave this podcast open to anything. Or if there's anything that you would like to say, leave it below before I head out. If you would like to leave a super chat to support this channel, you can right now and leave it below. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. If there's anyone else that would like to support the channel and let their voice be heard, go for it. Yeah, of course. It's hilarious. And while you guys are putting super chats out, I do have an announcement. I can't announce what it is yet, but I'll give you a hint. There's a new show coming, and I will be the host of it, and it's going to be on a massive platform, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it, and I cannot wait for you guys to experience it, because our ideas, everything that we're going to do, you guys are just going to love it. And I cannot wait for you guys to see. We're going to have guests. We're going to have in-studio guests. And it's just going to evolve into something amazing. So I'm super excited for you guys to see what we have coming. And I think this new show should roll out probably within the next week or two. And I'm just giving you guys a preview to what's to come. I think we have another super chat. Let me pull this one up right here. Here we go. Sorry, guys. TV Computer. Thank you for the super chat, my brother or sister. I don't know. I would like to support the channel. Thanks, Drew. We must fight World War CCP together. And, you know, no one And I was saying this to my wife at the end of the Arizona hearing today. We were watching it, and, you know, I'm grateful for, you know, the Republicans at the end of the hearing, you know, like, we're going to fight, you know, we're going to uphold the Constitution, and people have bled and died for our right to vote, and you'd better believe that we're going to fight. And I'm like, I just don't want to hear it anymore. Like, I don't want to hear your bold little courageous speeches. I don't want to hear your Captain America moments. With Republicans, I don't want to hear anything from you. Go and do. Go and do. Because I'm like, we're sick of it. We're sick of all this bold talk. You guys are going to go and you're going to fight and you're limp-wristed and you never do anything. You're not willing to drop the hammer. The state legislators, Republicans, have the constitutional authority to drop the hammer legally. Do it. Do it. Be man enough. Be woman enough. Be patriotic enough. Be constitutional enough. Who cares if you get your life threatened? You took this job. You took this job. You should have known that this comes with the territory. I knew listen, I didn't get into this, guys, to become an influencer. I didn't get into this to have thousands of followers. I didn't get into this to be on TV. I got into this because I know that there are people that hate America domestically and foreignly, that want to see this country burn. So when you listen to Drew Hernandez and you see me on Instagram and you see me on Twitter, you see me on Tucker Carlson, you see wherever you see me speaking, that's always in my mind. I didn't get into this like these grifters that watch what I do and they want to just get a bunch of followers to say that they're somebody. I could get censored tonight. I could lose all my platforms tonight. I'll still be out on the streets fighting for this country. That's what's inside. That's what's inside. That's where we're at. That's the mentality. Because you have a bunch of grifters in the Republican Party. You have a bunch of grifters in the right-wing social media movements. Dude, I know them. Come on. I could drop names right now and drop facts. Kids wouldn't even believe me. Your favorite conservative whatever page is probably on the list of grifters that we've confirmed. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, with Republicans, with the GOP, with conservatives, with Christians, with pastors, with patriots, with Americans. Right now is the time where we get bold and we move and we mobilize. We don't have time to sit here and talk. I want to see you do something. I want to see you act. I might even run. Who knows? Alrighty, James E., thank you for the super chat. James E., thank you for the super chat. Thank you for speaking up for the people who can't or won't. You know, man, there's nothing special about me. I just chose to start. And I'm thankful that God gave me a platform to be where I'm at right now because it's critical. It took me maybe about 3 years to start from 0 subscribers, 0 followers on everything, to being on Tucker Carlson 4 times. Took me about 3 years. I don't know if that's impressive. I don't know. But all I know is that I know that God is with me, and I decided to move. I decided to move. Obviously, it takes talent. It takes skill. Not everyone can do this. But you find what you can do, and you do it. With all of the ability that you have unto God himself, and you never look back. Don't look back. Who cares what people say? Take the constructive criticism and use it to make you better. But don't let people who make fun of you or hate on you, like, oh my God, you're so stupid. Like, this is what I always tell people, and people would say to me, people would say, oh, what, you're just trying to be like the next Ben Shapiro? You're just trying to be like the next Candace? I'm like, no, bro, I'm Drew Hernandez. That's who I am. Nice to meet you. And that's where the conversation ends. Like, you know what I mean? And it's, dude, we are moving into an era where you must be an alpha male. You must be an alpha female. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. In the church, outside of the church, in society. Yes. Oh my God, Jimmy Boy, thank you for the super chat. Oh my God, Jimmy Boy, thank you for the super chat. Convicted communists Susan Rosenberg and Eric Mann have been involved with BLM since its inception. It was like 2012, 2013. What is it going to take to wake up the general public? You know, I want to show you guys something actually pretty hilarious. Oh my God, Jimmy Boy, thank you for bringing that up. I want to show you guys something. Give me a second. This is actually really funny. You guys are going to think this is like really hilarious. To go to what Jimmy just said. Check this out, Jimmy. Thank you for reminding me. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me get this up. This was posted by Breitbart earlier, and I tweeted it, and I thought it was freaking hilarious. Let's get this up. Check this out, Jimmy. You're going to like this. Black Lives Matter. This is Black Lives Matter in Los Angeles. Accuses Biden of capitalizing on efforts to defund the police. Black Lives Matter in LA is already going at Joe Biden. It's like, dude, my God. A founding member of the Black Lives Matter global network accused former Vice President Joe Biden of capitalizing on our efforts to defund the police. The organizer of the group's BLM Los Angeles chapter said Biden also tried to condemn the effort at the same time. Former Vice President Biden capitalized on our efforts to defund the police and then tried to condemn the words at the same time. Black Lives Matter Los Angeles chapter leader organizer Dr. Melina Abdullah said during a Tuesday morning protest, according to the Daily Wire. Put the main cam back on. See, like, Jimmy, that's why I brought that up, and you reminded me of this, because it's like, when is the black community on the left going to wake up to the reality that the Democrat Party does not care about you? When are black people on the left going to wake up to the reality that the Democrat Party plays you like a hoe? They pimp you out. They don't care about you. That's why Joe Biden's sitting up there telling Charlemagne the God, if you can't choose between me or Trump, you ain't black. And then the whole left community and the black community turns around and votes for him. Dude, expecting change. I'm just like, dude, when are you guys going to wake up? Black Lives Matter Los Angeles is already going at Joe Biden. Oh my God. I don't know. Thanks for reminding me about that, Jimmy. I tweeted that today and I was just like freaking laughing. It was hilarious. Alrighty, guys. If you guys have any more super chats and you would like to ask something or say something, drop it right now before I head out, because this has been a long one and I don't mind hanging out with you guys, but I love hanging out with you guys. But I mean, I don't know. Should we just have like a 4-hour show? Just Alex Jones it. Imagine. Alrighty, guys. If you guys have any more super chats before I let you go, drop it right now. Anything you'd like to ask, anything that you'd like to say, let your voice be heard. This is the final segment of the show where we interact with you guys. And if there's nothing that you guys would like to say, I'll give you guys about a minute before I head out. I honestly can't wait for you guys to see the new show. You guys are going to love it, man. It's going to be on a massive platform, and we won't have to worry about the censorship for who knows how long. But I'm excited. I'm excited to do that. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. Make sure to like this video and share it. Make sure to follow me on Parler right now. And make sure to subscribe to me on Rumble. The link is in the description below. Follow all my accounts, everything, right? Twitter, on Instagram, Lives Matter Official, Lives Matter Show on Twitter, all the good stuff. But I think Parler and Rumble might be the go-to right now, because we have no idea what's going to happen. We don't know what direction we're going to go in. And it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. But I guess we'll find out. So, alrighty, guys, I am going to sign out. I love you guys, and make sure to stay safe. Keep fighting for America. Your republic, your democracy, your freedom is on the line. And if there's anything that you've learned from President Trump these past 4 years, it should be to never, ever give up. Do not concede. And you could like even like take Hillary Clinton's advice as well, and to never concede under any circumstances, right? So, yeah. All right, Feeder Watch, thank you for the super chat. Keep up the good work. I definitely will. I love you guys. And until next time, America, stay